Everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Quest podcast. It is the show where we go through the alleged classics of rap and we listen to the albums and decide what we actually think of them, here in 2017. It is your boy HSR with us tonight. Also joining me.
Yo, it's your boy Chris Chrome.
And your lady friend Bonnie.
And given how many fucking songs are on this album, we're going to just say, Chris, what album are we doing today?
So this week's for Classic Quest, we decided to go with De-La.Soul's album 3 Feet High and Rising.
Boom. So if you guys don't want to hear us talk about anything in particular, you can hit the show more, and in the description is going to be little links to each song. On that note, when did y'all first hear about De-La.Soul?
Gorilla's Feel Good Inc. song. I was looking up the lyrics and realized they were on that track. And that's it.
And you?
I didn't know I had heard any of this until I played it, and then I actually knew 3 is a magic number. But other than that, I didn't even think that I had known what it was. So, yeah.
I knew who they were because of all the lists they appear on, and I've heard songs throughout the time. I've tried multiple times to get into them and never really did. So I've never listened to like a full album, but I've heard a few of the hits off of this. And I did listen to their most recent album, and the Anonymous Nobody, or I don't remember the exact title, that came out in 2016, and that was a crazy experience, totally worth checking out. So it's really different than this album, I can tell you that much. And so this one has a lot of songs on it. There are 24 on the album, but we just kind of dropped the last one because it's, a duplicate track of another one. But what did y'all think of the name of the album and the cover?
I thought of the name of the album, they were just a group that was starting up, becoming rappers, trying to get their place in the game. They're starting at 3 feet above whatever ground level, and they're just trying to keep on rising up. That's what I got.
Well, I read somewhere that the 3 Feet High and Rising had a reference to do with Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And one of his songs.
So
I thought that was kind of interesting, like a nice kind of little throwback to classic.
One of their dads it was an album, 5 Feet High and Rising, and they drew the inspiration from that. And then the cover has like all their heads around, and it's
like De-La.Soul. It's like in like a circle and
very hippie looking.
Yeah, there's like peace signs and daisies and
the opposite of rap that we have encountered so far in terms of image. Let's say there's nothing we've touched that even comes close to this hippie look that they have going on. And
well, they don't necessarily look like hippies. Like they just kind of are hippies, and that's what they talk about.
Well, I mean, like the cover feels like hippie-ish compared
but
to
they don't even look like gangsters either. Like they kind of
they just look like normal guys.
Right, like it's very like dressy, nice clothing, very kind of casually, but not like yo look at my big sweater.
Well, from what I understand, they come from like not the worst circumstances compared to some of the other dudes, and so they were just trying to present.
But they talk about the ghetto like they know what's going on, so.
Well, I'm sure.
Sounds like they kind of know what's going on.
Right, but I'm just saying, from what I understand, they're like from one of the suburbs or one of the areas in Jersey that's not from like the hardest place in the world. I'm not like trying to speculate.
Well, I mean, I guess they probably have like a lot of friends and other things that
they're friends
are
with
in like
Q-Tip
these type of places.
Raps, and I'm certain that they spent a whole bunch of time in New York rapping and being around a lot of folk who had been through some stuff. So they're not ignorant to it.
No.
I don't know. I might be wrong. I remember seeing that in an interview at one point, that because of that difference growing up, they were able to create almost like a completely different sound to hip-hop that was than what was happening around them at the time, because this was 89 it came out. And so at this point, Straight Outta Compton's already come out, and all the gangster rap revolutions happening.
They have like a little bit of like a Eric B and Rakim kind of like feel, obviously. I think you kind of get that by like the DJ-ness and scratching and whatever, so.
Well, that's the cool thing. I liked how it was very live. I like how back then it wasn't so synthesized and so digital. It was really like the guy was up there scratching the beat at it while you're going on it. It was very raw.
From what I understand, for their triad, one of them is the DJ, the Mace guy, And then there's plug 1, plug 2. So Dove is plug 2, and I, for the life of me, can't remember the other dudes.
POS.
Yeah, him. He has stands.
Pasta
Or something. He is plug 1, and they would do the emceeing with the next dude doing the DJing, and then there was the other guy who produced the album.
Principal Paul.
That's the one. And collectively, he's kind of like the unofficial member of De La Soul as far as everyone's concerned.
Is he the one who always just kind of goes, yeah, in the background and stuff and like makes weird noises and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes. All right, so there's a lot of tracks. We're going to try not to spend as much time on each one as we might normally do because there's so many. So
yeah. And there's a lot of small ones, like a lot of short ones.
Yeah, so let's talk about intro.
Intro just kind of sounds like an old-timey game show.
Yeah, it's cool. I liked it. It's got like this certain degree of cuteness to it, right? So, I mean, I picture the 80s when...
It's an interesting opening.
Like Whammy and shit's at an all-time high.
Right.
And it's just dorky because their accents are so shit, right? Like, the Australian guy does not sound Australian. And, like, the whole idea of, like, creating this game show where the various contestants have to answer these random-ass questions that they put in... Honestly,
and like every few songs, like you kind of get like, do you know the answer?
Like
do
a
you know
different
the
contestant, yeah.
But like it just felt so like aloof in them, right? Like
it was pretty random.
I didn't really know what to expect on the album at this point, but I can tell you that this is one of those skits where if it came on, I could listen to it because it's just so weird. So I give it a 4. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, pretty well made.
I gave it a 3 on 5. I didn't have anything really to it. I thought it was creative, yes. I thought it was funny, yes, but just nothing there for me. Sorry.
Well, it was creative and funny.
Well, that's why I didn't get a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
You're staying at 3.
That's fine.
Right. I also gave it a 4. I thought it was an interesting start. It was a little bit weird. You're kind of getting a different feel for the album. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. It ends with them like going to live to like commercial breaks or whatever, and then it's just on to the next song.
Which is always an exciting way to create a nice experience, almost like the songs on this album are the commercial break to this game show, which is really I don't know, it's fucking, you know what?
I guess so. I didn't think about that.
Honestly, I have to just preface this. Because of the MF Doom album review that we did, I was better prepared to receive this experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And I realized it wasn't going to be one of those song banger type albums. So I guess, in a sense, this intro did help me get ready for the remainder of the album. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Cool. Set the tone.
Yeah, but...
Let's talk about that magic number.
Consists of 3, and that's a magic number. This here piece of the pie is not dessert, but the cost that we dine, and 3 out of every darn time.
Alright, so Bonnie would like to let you know that we're all sweating and dying because Montreal is a
like
humid mess
40
of
degrees
hotness, and we're getting some real awful weather because, rain is coming at some point.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully cool things down.
Lots of sweat this weekend. On that note, this song is so fucking cute. I know it's weird to describe like a rap song with cute, but that like beat kicks in and you're like, okay.
No, it's head boppy. Yeah. It's head boppy. Yeah.
And then it's just so like pleasant, right? It's just, hey, the 3 of us, it's the magic number. We're like the 3 musketeers. And we just create this awesome shit. And it's just a little bit about their hippy-dippy, loving bass personality.
Yeah.
And it's just the most pleasant experience, like, and I really
because they want you to know that they're purely hip hop and this is what they're about, but that hip hop doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to sound like a certain way. Like they're changing it up. They're making it about peace. They're sort of, saying like, this is us, we're hippies, da 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 da.
Right.
And like they talk about like Fred Astaire and like they talk about other things. This is where they mention the Johnny Cash thing, I think, or it comes up somehow.
Yeah, and then what I thought was really cool is how they recognize that they're actually just aspiring already in their hippie movement to be leaders in this community. And they're aware of their role in this, so rather than just doing this and whatnot, like to just take that responsibility with it. How the flows were, again, so smooth. Like, it's like...
I was excited to hear this because I remember having first heard this. It was my dance teacher in college.
Oh, nice.
So she used to play this for us, and... Yeah, I was really excited when I heard this song because I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I've been wondering what this song was. And then finally I like heard it again and now I know what it is. And I'm definitely going to save this one.
But yeah, as far as the flows go, it's like they're so like relaxed and like
very, very
calm.
Controlled.
It's
a
like
little bit. Like they know what they're doing.
This place, everything in it, and they have their own like unique ways of doing it, right?
Yeah.
So like,
but they don't want to be so exaggerated. They don't want to be so heavy. I feel like they want to get their message across in a very smooth, calm,
like
positive way.
The danciness of the music is super evident, and they want to create like this smooth, comfortable. Like I can just picture like a party vibe, and you put this album on, or at least the songs on this album on, and everyone's just dancing like it's the '60s again, and it's just fun and peace, love, and happiness and whatnot. But what I liked about the beat is that as much as the song's kind of long, right? Like it kind of just, you know, their flows aren't as diverse as let's say I would normally go for.
Yeah.
The construction of the beats and the way you kind of get sucked into the groove made it really good for me. So I give this a 4.5. I thought it was really lovely.
Nice.
Yeah. I gave it a.
Go.
What do you think? Okay, I gave it a 5 on 5. I love this song. I was happy to hear it.
Nice. Little nostalgic feeling a bit, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. I give it a 4 on 5. I thought it was really cool. Not my genre of music, not my kind of vibe, but it's still nice to have something positive. So 4 on 5.
If hip hop's your genre of music, then it is your genre of music.
Oh shit.
Well, yeah.
I guess what?
Maybe not my subgenre.
Okay.
Maybe it's just he needs a change in speech.
Yeah.
They'll never go down. Competition commence to step down. Those involved with peace and know the soul down. And see that the soul's got a new sound. Dance until you find yourself a new.
So I realized here that there's going to be a lot of similar sounds on this album, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so like my notes are like, okay, another fun, smooth beat because they're very similar. Sampling cool shit, right? Like it is a weird, abstract mix of sounds.
Yeah, I think it is very 80s. It is very...
Well, they stuck to what they had.
Yeah.
But it's not like the earlier part of the 80s where like it's really kind of almost literally the same sounds. Here, they've clearly got some creativity. Like they got real high and had a wide array of records to pick from and just went to town putting shit together that wasn't already being used. And I appreciated that, right? And I feel like, again, this song's almost about the same thing, like more of their peace-loving hippie types, and they're going to use this type of rhyming to be hip-hop with it as opposed to the other stuff that's happening around them.
Fair enough.
Well, I thought it was interesting, like, the way that they were using, like, the negative and the positive spin on things, was like, they were saying that, like, they're, you know, like, they're trying to be more like, you know, camera negatives that in the dark become something positive. They become a picture. They become something that, you know, that is going to last. Whereas, you know, like a lot of the time, you know, if you're young, you probably don't remember what these are. But I mean, like the film negatives that you would get from, you know, like an actual camera.
Right.
And so, like, that's what they're kind of playing with. Like, they're using that to, like, change the meaning of things, and that a lot of the time, like the negatives, they get lost because they kind of get left behind. And so that's what they're trying to say is that, you know, if you're positive, something good is going to come out, and, you know, you're going to see like the full picture. But if you're negative, then you're just going to get lost.
It's
like,
your karma.
Yeah.
Take your karma. No, I got the exact same feeling.
And that they're all about peace, you know?
With like very similar flows and song structuring.
There wasn't much to this song for me. It was very similar to the last one. I like their creativity. I do agree with it. I like the peppiness and the positivity. Although I did feel like the sound, like the instrumentals, kind of drowned out their voices. I had trouble understanding them on this one. Still very smooth, right? Smooth, just maybe not as clear. I don't think it was because of the style of rapping. I think it was just because.
Yeah, the sounds.
The sounds. So,
Yeah.
but I gave it a 3 on 5 for that.
I give it a 4. I can't help but appreciate what they're trying to do, and albeit this is not for me, and this is not an album like I think I'm really going to go back to a lot for personal interest. I can appreciate the talent and artistry in it, and I think it's really well made.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5 on 5. I thought it was a fun, catchy song, but I don't think that it's like a hit or anything.
All right, so you know it would be really dope in this really humid room.
Yes.
What?
A cool,
Cool
breeze
breeze.
on the rock. I just want to say before anyone starts, at the very last thing said on the end of the last song was, "Yo, Mace, speak," and then this comes in and starts
Okay.
talking, right? So,
Oh.
like when you really look at this, now we're giving the DJ his opportunity,
moment to.
and
To shine.
I like what he did. Right, he just took all these random vocal samples.
It was cool. I mean, but it was mostly like rock and like kind of pop stuff that was
But
like
it was
being played
it was
on the radio.
positive though, because it's like, rock on, man, you could do it. Like, rock that beat. Like,
But
we
it was
got
like
you.
mixes of like and samples of like a whole bunch of different like popular songs
Yeah.
at the time,
Like
and it was really cool. Like the way that he kind of like chopped it up and like made it work together.
Right.
And I recognized a few of them, and like sometimes it would go from like a hip hop thing to a metal thing to like a soft thing,
It's like a Michael Jackson.
and
or
it
whatever.
was like, and it was all saying the same thing. And look, I don't know, like this impressed the fuck out of me. I don't know that I could listen to this like all the fucking time, but like hearing this come on, like I feel like with these skit like things, they're really hit or miss in life, right?
Yeah.
And this one hit it proper. It was really nice. It blew my mind. I got really kind of excited the more it went on, and I realized what was happening. This
Well, it
was
was only 48 seconds.
yeah, 48 seconds managed to delight me this much. It was a 4 on 5. It was really
Nice.
fucking cool.
I gave it a 3.5 on 5. Same thing. I thought there was like a cool mix. But, yeah, I mean, besides that, there wasn't really much else to it. I guess that's all that they were trying to say.
I gave it a 3 on 5. There was not really much to it for me. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that like we let Maze speak and he was the DJ. I apologize for that. That's on me. But it wasn't bad. It was okay. I like the whole commercial intro back to the show thing. I gave it a 3 on 5.
The next one is Can You Keep a Secret? Another little skit thing.
I didn't get it.
Well,
They were just talking about,
like how everybody
they
had,
like girls.
Well, no, it was more than that, right? Like, it was like first they like girls, and then this one they all have bad breath, and this one everyone has dandruff. And I think what it's trying to say is we're all kind of the same at the end of the day. And look, can you keep a secret with these
Like
whispered
there's lots
voices?
of whispers.
And it was in each part, every one of the group had the same thing. So yeah, the first one, everyone likes to have sex. Everyone needs a breath. The cops.
Looting.
Yeah, which apparently, as we find out later on the album, is for when you have bad breath and shit. You pop a looting. And so everyone has dandruff. And it's just cute, right? Because if you think about it, it's like, can you keep a secret here? We have all these normal shit that like everyone else has. And I was like, this is fucking clever. This is a really good skit that fits the motif of what they've done so far with the album. And I give it a 4. I thought it was well made and really cool.
I got confused, super lost. I didn't understand. I was like, all right, thank you for your secret. Cool. I
Yeah.
gave it a 2 on 5. I'm sorry.
Because Chris has dandruff.
That's it. That's it.
Probably what it is. I don't know. I also gave it a 2 on 5 because I just thought it was weird. Same kind of
and
thing.
fun fact, Dante is the guy who was head of A&R at the time at Elektra / Tommy Boy.
Dante
and
Ross.
They thought he was like checking in on them to spy at him, so they called him a douche a bunch of times, and then realized after he was a dope guy and like kind of felt bad. So I was like, that's funny. Like the whole song kind of cracked me up. I just pictured a bunch of like 18-year-old kids making a goofy little track. I don't know.
Well, it was.
Fair enough. I like it. You guys don't have to get it.
That's
But,
okay.
Anyway, let's just move on to Jenifa Taught Me, which is Derwin's Revenge.
Yeah.
We met. I brought records, she cassettes. Lost the break, found her shape. Jennifer, oh Jenny. Transcript, show more than flirt. I love Daisy.
Did you guys know that Derwin is a real person that they used to rag on for being a virgin?
No.
And then after this song, Derwin got some tail because it kind of helped him get some recognition.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Fun
That's
facts
alright.
that are out there. I like this track. It was goofy. It was fun.
Dove is like singing about like a school crush that he's got, but then he finds out that she's like a garden tool. So I think that we know what that means.
I think they're both going after the same girl.
That's what
Yeah.
I got. I was like, are you guys going after the same girl, or is Jenifa or Jenny that they
Jenifa.
keep using?
Jenifa. Jenny.
Is that like an alias name for the women you're talking about?
Yes.
Well,
He's kind of talking about this one specific girl, but then you find out that like Jenny is like the name that he gives to like all girls.
Yeah, and Jimmy is his penis. So when he says Jimmy, he starts thinking or whatever. That's his dick he's talking about. I think my favorite part of this whole song is when the Derwin character shows up and like, she ain't got no talents, I got talent, and then it does the like overly simple whatever piano bullshit that he does.
Yeah, it's the chopsticks.
And they're just kind of implying secretly, well, she don't got that kind of talent, but she got a whole other kind of talent going on.
Yeah, but then like, is it him or is it Dove that like says that he wouldn't bang her in the bathroom because like even he was kind of like no.
I think it was Dove, but yeah, I thought it was really fucking cute. I gave this a 4.5. I thought the beat was really great. I thought it was really like what I have to give these dudes credit for is it's hard to be like in a bad mood listening to their songs, right?
Fair enough.
Like. This was some uplifting, and it's not like disrespectful shit. It's not like slap a bitch and fuck a hoe. It's kind of like they're just goofy college kids trying to get laid in like the most safe and innocent way.
I guess, yeah.
And I like it a lot. I could deal with like this one a lot more than some of the others.
Yeah, I like this one. I thought it was a good song. I thought it was cute. And what did I end up giving it? I gave it a 4 on 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gave it a 3 on 5. I kind of got confused. I didn't really know what direction this was going. When they put in Derwin, I was like, the fuck? What?
It's like some pal.
Just, dude, okay, you're playing chopsticks.
It was so funny because he's like,
I don't know, man.
showing
I'm
up-
having trouble understanding
like,
this album.
show up to like Peacock for some attention, like, hey guys, look at me, I can do this, and they're like, yeah, listen, you can do that. We're talking about the buddy stuff over here. It was really, it kind of made me picture like almost like a National Lampoon style 80s humor kind of like
I guess, yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds type shit, and I'm really like, I don't know, I feel like my mom would have loved this album if she had known it existed back then.
Fair enough.
What'd you give it?
Give it a 3 on 5.
Christopher.
All right, let's talk about that Ghetto Thang.
Cause it's just a ghetto thing.
Did somebody enlighten me on what the hell this is actually going for? Because I just got experiences in the ghetto, or how this whole ideology where people are like, oh, it's a ghetto thing, like, don't even worry about it, like that. They're playing upon that. Other than that,
Well, they're talking about what it's like
It's
in
a
the
little
ghetto
bit
and
of
what
both.
he's seeing, but like he also wants, well, I think not just him, but like they also would like to change like what people think of when they say, oh, that's a ghetto thing. Like they want to turn it into something that's going to be
But
more
it's
positive.
also
Right.
while recognizing that there is truth
There's
in
a
the
lot of
fact that
problems.
when you do say it's a ghetto thing, as much as it has like this negative connotation, you know, like
Like it's true. It's
all
like
jokes have a little bit of truth in them.
Yeah.
And that the only way to really achieve the proper level of change that you're looking for is to kind of acknowledge those truths and to like proceed to find positive ways to change them. So
right.
it's just basically like an NWA song for all terms and purposes, and the journalistic street view type of shit, but done with their flow in a really serious way. Like this song didn't really feel like the album. It felt like
well,
really...
I mean, it is probably one of the only songs that's a little bit negative on the album and talking about like something
More serious.
serious.
Not as so negative, but
No,
more serious.
It was a little like, okay,
Like they're
have
talking
that,
about
like,
hoes and about pimps and guns and drugs and kids being left alone and buildings
Yeah.
crumbling and like all the crap that happens in the
And-
ghetto, and like it's not positive.
but they
But he
have
wants it to
like they have like
become
the
something
optimism that change can happen as long as we apply the right kind of thinking to it.
Right.
So I would say to answer your original question, it's a bit of both. You know, I thought this was fantastic. I thought there was a lot of truth here. Like it's like, hey, we're not just a bunch of silly idiots popping around talking about Buddy all the time.
Yeah.
We actually are aware of what's going on. We're just trying to do something different. This is our like contribution per se, and I respected this track so much. That simple bass line never got boring. The beat was so well produced. I give this a 4.5 on 5. Like I could not give this like an everyday listen type feel, but
Yeah.
it's possibly my favorite song on the album for real. Like the strongest, most impactful one for me.
That's cool.
Nice. Well, I gave it a 4 on 5. I actually really like the song. I like the flows. I like the way it was produced. I did get confused, but you know what? At this point, I was like, I'm not gonna understand their metaphors. So I just went with how I felt. And honestly, this is a really good song when you're just in a vibing mood, and it's different from what they did on the album. But I think that's why it's good to be there.
Yeah. I also gave it a 4.5 on 5, like you did, and yeah, I mean, it's a really great song. He's just talking about the truth about what he sees, what's going on, and that he just hopes that things can become better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're transmitting
Live from Mars.
This was weird as fuck.
Yeah, and like I'm sure, like if you don't know French, that you're skipping over this album, like not this album, this song every
It's
single
a
time.
cliche.
I would actually go the complete opposite.
No, if you don't know what they're saying,
French, it just sounds cool. But if you know French and you know what they're saying, and you're like, when is it time to eat? When is it time to eat? Oh, we're gonna have sausages, and you're just like, this is boring.
what? That's not even what they say.
One of the lines is there is gonna be sausages,
Yeah, and
Oh,
chicken
okay.
wings.
and
Okay.
it says what time are we gonna eat?
Yes, they
four
say that
times.
a billion times when we're
So
gonna eat.
absolutely, is the sausages up in there? I
Okay,
remember that
I know
line.
maybe I skipped over the sausage part.
All I know is
What time is it? Say midi.
yeah,
Say
it was
midi.
really
It's
fucking okay.
like, okay.
2 on 5.
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
on 5
2 on
as
5.
well. I don't got shit all to really
Sorry.
contribute
It's
to this.
just weird.
Look,
Why?
I know they may have had a point to this.
Yep.
And going through how they're like romantic and fun and
Yep.
they're jimmies and stuff. I
Well,
don't
he's
know if
also
they
just
say
trying to
jimmies
say,
in the
like,
song.
that love is important to him and that, it's not just about sex.
Yeah,
Well-
like this was their game, but I got the feeling like it was almost like player versions
Yeah,
of that.
it was
I,
like a nice guy type mentality.
yeah.
Because they talk about weddings and stuff like that, so I assume
Yeah,
that
Wedding
like he's talking
Crashers
about
exist.
love. No,
No,
not
no,
Wedding
no.
Crashers. His wedding.
I do feel like they have romantic side to them.
Like I don't think that they're all about like playing and whatever, but I think that they do want love, but they're hippies, right? So I don't know.
They're very free with their buddy system.
I guess.
But no, I kind of felt like it was a little bit like Running Game, but just a different type of game. Like, it's the kind of shit I've said in the past to get laid. So I kind of looked at it like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Now, it might be completely true and a bit romantic, but it also kind of felt a bit sleazy to me. Like, it was a bit of like, whoa, there was like this honestness to it. But the beat was okay. I just had one grievance with it. It just kind of kept going at a
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, the beat's not that good to suck me in. But it's apparently a hit. Like, it had that video with the goofy, colorful background.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I liked the video. I thought it was cute. I mean, I did enjoy it when he was like he's like playing like he's
Yeah,
fake
just
playing
having,
like
like, a
the
fucking
the
fun
instruments
time.
and stuff. It's cute.
And whatnot. I don't know. There's not a lot more to comment on it. Just a lot more of the same so far as we've seen on the album.
It's a lot of positivity. A lot of their style right now is just a lot of positivity, except for Ghetto Thang, which was more serious and direct.
Mhm.
A lot of it is just the very similar,
Right. So
happy-go-lucky. We got this. We're just living life. We're just enjoying this.
Right,
Yeah.
but this one wasn't so much that.
Well, it was more of a love
It was
song,
more
but-
of a, I want to get with you, girl.
Right.
Or a song
type
about love, not a love
Now,
song.
I'll give it to you. It was more positive, but it definitely wasn't the same thing like the other positive hippie songs they've written. It was more like how a positive hippie gets laid.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I took from this song. I gave it a 3.5 on 5. I recognize it's pretty talented for what it is, but it's not that great.
Well, I actually gave it a 4 on 5. I actually really liked it. I liked the lyrics behind it. I like the flows. The flows were really good. I really liked how they went in and at it. I liked the back and forth. So
I gave it a 3 on 5. I thought it was a good song, but I didn't think it was like a memorable song. And then I thought it was weird when I found out that later on that it was like a hit, and I was like, oh, okay.
With the
It's a good
video
song. It's
and
catchy,
everything.
but it's not.
You know, it
Not my
might have just
favorite.
been like really safe for the time. Like, I was wondering if these guys would have more videos just because their content is safe compared to say like "fuck the police."
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Y'all wanna move on to
Take it off.
yeah, take it off.
Take it off, off. Take that horse weed off. Take it off. Take those shell toes off. Take it
If I understand this one correctly, it's take off all those brands.
Yeah.
Be proud. Be
Oh.
black. Be you.
be raw, show yourself for who you are, be a proud black person. Like that's just what they're trying to say. They're like, you don't need all these labels and all these things. Just be who you are. Like, be true to who you are and just take off all that other crap and just expose yourself.
Listing a bunch of shit
But
I have heard of and a few things I had not heard of.
It's not even a long song, but it gets like pretty repetitive pretty quickly. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
we get
annoying.
it. Just take it all
We
off.
get the message.
I don't know. I didn't think it was that like over the top. I thought it was deliberate. It was attacking and calling on very specific brands that were being seen around the culture. It was like they made a list.
Tangle.
Converse was on
Converse.
there, and it's like they made a list of like 20, 30 things that pissed them off that they didn't think people should be indulging in, and put it all in there for a minute.
Yeah.
And I respect. It was almost like a protest against capitalism and the system and stuff. And I thought it was nifty, but
Fair
it
enough.
was kind of a little bit like not that great compared to some of the other shit on this album so far. So 3 on 5 for me.
2 on 5 for me.
I gave it a 2.5, so right in the middle.
All right. So I guess what you're saying is you really do need
A little bit of soap.
Oh, is this really a song about how if you smell bad, go wash because you're rude? Rude motherfuckers smelling bad?
But is he talking about like just like people actually stinking, or is he talking about people like like in that kind of you stink, like that kind of sense, like if they're not good enough, is like, are he talking
That's a
about
very
like that kind
interesting
of thing?
concept.
So I wasn't sure what was going on, but I mean, it was okay. It was a weird song though. I didn't really. But like that's the thing, it's like you're kind of left wondering what it's about, and I don't know. For me, like I want to know what the song's about.
I had this I just pictured it like when you're in the office and that person smells bad and you just send them this little YouTube URL and it just eloquently tells them to go clean up a little bit because they're offending you with their odor.
Okay.
I thought the beat was a little funky and nice.
Well, it's Stand By Me. It's
it is,
that's what
eh?
it is. It's Ben E. King's Stand By
it was
Me.
good.
Like beat is what's in the background. Dun dun dun
And
dun dun dun.
yeah, and his little rap verse was cute. Again, it was their airiness. It's like I do think that it could be a double entendre song, and
Thinking of it as a double entendre is actually pretty interesting now. Like,
Yeah.
but
At first glance, I was like, okay, this is. I kept it what it was. I'm gonna say now it's a 3 on 5 for me. There wasn't much to it.
there's a lot to it as we've just discussed.
Well, yeah, until we had the discussion, now I'm kind of sitting here like, oh, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But off one hand, I'm just like, this is just an inevitable situation. Problem.
Yeah, you should probably just bathe.
Yeah, but there are people out there who are gross and don't know that,
Right.
and how do you tell them? Either I gave this a 4. I thought it was funny. I found out contestant 2 doesn't know the answers. And I thought it was a good skit. Like, it was a great little break in the middle of this album. I got a little chuckle. It was like, I couldn't believe they wrote this, and I'm happy they did. That's how I felt at the end of it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I gave it a 2, so.
Oh, goodness.
It wasn't for me.
All of y'all need to learn how to tread water.
Ferns, silently the silence came. Was it the end of my world? I shouted out in fear, who's there? It's me, said Mr. Squirrel.
So what did you think the song was about?
Well, I thought it was about that their music, and that this song would help keep you afloat and help, when you're drowning or if you're having a bad time, that keep your head up. Like that's what I thought that this song was all about. Don't about treading water and like staying positive, stay up there.
Nice.
Well, there was like 4 distinct and unique situations put out, right? And I felt like it was kind of trying to address that there are things that you can do. Like in that case, yes, their music can be used to do this. And like the second part of the first verse, they're like addressing, well, look around. If nobody's here actually like trying to contribute, then nothing can happen. So it's starting to like, I felt like it was trying to frame through these little animal tales this mentality of if more people started to look for ways they could help create change and tread water and go into new and unfamiliar territory like they've been doing, then we could actually see more investment in the community and more positive change actually happening. And the idea of treading water was like, being brave and taking risks and shit like that. That's at least how I looked into saw it from there. I could be wrong. It was there were 4 animals involved.
A squirrel, a monkey, a fish.
But it
I
was,
think there's another. I don't know.
Crocodile.
yeah.
Was it a crocodile? Okay.
And then it was delivered in such a way where it was cute. Again, like it wasn't like too in your face, right? Like he was super fucking scared of what animal jumped out of the bush, and it was just this little squirrel ready to have a conversation and shit. And the beat was really like, it was pumping. It was really like good. I like this. I thought it was trying to communicate a really important message in a really cute and clever way. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. It was one of the more engaging, didn't get boring by the end of it songs on this album.
Fair enough.
Considering
Fair
how
enough.
long they are, and I would listen to this again. It was fucking really good.
No, fair enough. I also gave it a 4 on 5. It's that good listening to it. I got this like environmental feel where like they wanted people to start being nicer to the environment and help save the animals. I thought the message was
But
cute.
why did you get that?
Because they brought up 4 different animals and 4 different like
But they were-
scenarios, like regarding like where the crocodile comes from, how the fish came to be, how the monkey
Fish
came
comes
to
in
be.
through
Like,
his bathtub.
right, saving water, don't waste water. Like, I
guess.
I just got this like environmental wanting to like give back type thing, like trying to save it. But other than that, the storytelling was actually really cool. The verses were pretty dope, and it was just an all right hype song. 4 on 5.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4 on 5. I thought it was interesting. It was a cool song. It was about, for me, it was just about like staying positive and like you'll get through it, you'll overcome, like that kind of feeling.
Like there's a point to trying, like in especially unfamiliar settings.
Yeah.
I don't really see the animal message, but I see where you're coming from. So yeah, I guess if y'all want to move on to Potholes on My Lawn.
Okay.
To leave my garden untended, cause I has now pardoned on laws of privacy. Thieving paws are after my right to see. I pursue that everyone.
This was the first single off of the album.
Yeah, which is interesting. I find it crazy how their first single is the ever so classic "Don't Steal My Rhyme" song.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
in
it's
case
just-
you didn't know, that's what the Potholes on the Lawn is about, right?
It's all about their
They-
rap
they take-
game.
They take their rhymes and their styles,
Right.
and, you know, just like every other rapper wrote that song. I'll give it to them though. All the people we've covered tend to be more pioneers in the genre, so there are a lot of people who copy their
yeah.
styles.
It's
Fair enough.
So, like, the potholes are supposed to be, like, the imperfections, and so they're supposed to be, like, the bad rappers that are on his lawn, and his lawn is supposed to be, like, the rap game. And so, like, he's just saying, like, don't put your imperfections, like, and then try to copy me, like, when I'm so good, and, like, you know, like, a fresh, green, freshly mowed lawn, you know, and then come put, like, these big holes all over it, you know, like, that's kind of just what they're saying.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like it was a little bit on the repetitive side.
There was some yodeling. I think there might have been some like
it was
didgeridoo.
so
Like it was
good.
kind of all over the place with like different stuff.
I love the all over the place. The yodeling was a nice little hook
Yep.
thing, and
Yep.
etc. And it was a silly,
You
fun
don't often
song.
see yodeling in rap, so good for
No,
you.
But I did find that like all 4 of their verses were like the same thing.
yeah, it was.
And-
It did have a kind of annoying repetitive sound,
But it was a good track still. I give it a 4 on 5. I respect how they came at it. At the very least, if they're gonna write a song about how people steal their rhymes, they were creative enough to make the metaphor to make it their own.
Fair enough. I gave it a 4 on 5 as well. I thought it was really cool. I didn't get the whole stealing my rhyme things, but I got the whole my rhymes are this, and I've been here around for so long. So I actually really liked how they did. I liked the flows, and I liked the way it was produced.
cool. I gave this one a 3.5. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a good song about like your rap game and stuff, but it wasn't like my fave.
Okay.
But still good.
All right. So say no go then.
Yeah.
We have the anti-drug but mostly crack anthem
Yep.
on their thing. It was a
Well, yeah.
single.
Yeah, and like the first like part is just about, you know, like this baby that's born, you know, from a crack addicted mother, and then the baby is addicted to crack like as soon as it's born, and like just kind of like the epidemic and like the shit that's going on with, you know, crack, especially in like his community or you know the communities that he's seeing or singing about or hanging out in the ghetto or New York. And so I mean it's terrible, and so like I think they're just trying to address that, and just to say no to drugs and to say no to the drug pushers.
Yeah, like we have the opportunity to stop it, but if we keep letting it go on the way that it's going, like the more as going on, it's like these people are worshiping crack like it's a religion,
And they're saying, weed was fine, like, but now it doesn't seem like it's good enough for everybody. Everyone wants more. They need more. Like, you know, how.
And like then you have like just how this new generation of crack addicts is almost like zombies, which is reflected in the video as kind of has this like
these people behind the fence
thing, and like and these fiends, and he's just holding up a big old rock like it's clearly not real crack, but he's not even being subtle. But what the fuck they're talking about, and just watching these fiends chase the rock and stuff.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like sort of a symbolic thing that you're stuck there, you're trapped, and you're fenced in, and like if you can't escape that, then you're going to keep coming back for that crack. It's kind of sad. So it's an interesting, positive sounding song about something that's kind of.
Well, they took their
terrible
way of doing the anti-drug protest, or whatever you want to call it, and did it their own.
Yeah.
But it does have that kind of positivity to it. It is saying that it's as easy as just not doing it in the first, which turned out to be a lot harder than they thought. But still, the premise of it being that we have the power, we can stop these people, and I like how that kind of little message and that like energy always seems to float into their song, regardless to what they're going on. But it just kind of kept going and going and going.
Well, the song is 4 minutes and 20 seconds. 4:20. So, yeah, it is a bit of a long song, but I mean, I get it that they're trying to make a message.
I gave it a 3.5 on 5 because it did get too repetitive for my liking.
I actually liked it. I gave it a 4 on 5. I really liked the message and the positivity behind wanting to try to stop and make this a change.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4 on 5. Don't even think about it. Is what like they're just trying to say, like just don't do crack, folks.
Don't do it,
please.
Fair enough. And another thing they're trying to say is that you should do as De-La does.
Okay.
Come on, say plug it up. Plug it up. Say plug it up. Plug it up. I got somebody next to you with some badass breath. I want you to.
Oh, let's hear it.
I mean, it was just like their take on a hype track. Like when you're at a live performance, you're going to hear that kind of shit happening. And this is just them being goofy with it. Like, take a Luga, take a cough drop, like fucking just random shit. Like them being goofy ass fucks.
But they want you to just copy everything that they do. But then they also don't want you stealing what they do.
It's different.
But in this song, it's literally just them shouting out and then like people shouting back the same thing, and it's just that the entire song.
But it's a little interlude skit thing, and then some other guy at the end, POPMASTER HIGHT, actually drops some F-bombs, which isn't very common on this album.
Yeah. He's like, it's so fucking great, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
fucking
this is not so
head.
fucking great. And I'm like, this is a weird song.
I'm okay with this. I really enjoyed it, actually, because it's kind of like parodying how other people do this type of shit. Like, you go to a crowd, and
But this would be the kind of song that you would listen to and you would hear live, but only live. Like, this isn't, like, good on an album.
But it's a bit of a parody of what these people do at live shows. When you go to a live show and they spend, like, 20 minutes doing call and chants, and that's like their whole set. I think they're just trying to goof on these kind of rappers a bit. Like, they're just taking a little bit of funny shots. Like,
I didn't know that part, but I don't know. I just thought it felt really weird. And
then, like, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I give it a 4. I thought it was a goofy, fucking well-crafted track. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just goofy.
I gave it a 3 on 5. I didn't feel too much for it.
Okay, you guys feel like you already know my opinion. I wasn't a big fan. I gave it a 2 on 5.
That's fine. I don't think y'all see the brilliance of these little skits and, the little...
Yeah, but it wasn't even well done. It was just like, oh!
But again, it's like a parody, right? Like, it was completely done like that on purpose,
I guess.
I
hope.
I mean... It's I don't know. I've seen like that kind of shit at performances, and it kind of makes sense to me what they're doing. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess we can talk about plug Tunin, the last chance to comprehend.
Okay.
Girls, China and Jet. The button is pressed in 89. Will start the panic from De.A.I.S.Y and absent from Stet. Negative noise will be all divided. Dangerous to.
this is like the song apparently that like that got them like picked up by the producer dude that made the album with them.
Okay.
So they made this, and it's kind of like their little introduction, like plug Tunin, like plug 1, plug 2, then plug 1 does his part, then plug 2 does his part,
Yeah.
and we get to hear the differences between the various approaches they take, and like Dove is really like the peaceful hippie of the two, for real. Is what
Yeah.
you get in. The other one's a little more conscientious, I find, a little more prolific, I would say, with it. And I really appreciated this track. That beat is really, really, really well made. Again, it didn't get boring to me at all. I just, the chorus, just it's so nice. Plug 1, plug 2, and it just fits them. Like there's something about the way they put songs together that fits their personality in a way where this goofy shit just fucking works properly. I thought their rhymes were okay. Everything they had to say, like, there was nothing new here in terms of new ideas, but it was well done. So 4.5 on 5.
Wow. I gave this a 2 on 5. I thought this was an annoying song. I thought it just like it kept going. It like did nothing for me. I did not like this song at all. No.
I have to agree with Bonnie. I gave it a 2 on 5, dude. I didn't feel anything from it. It's just
It's
dragged
long.
on.
It's
and
4 minutes and 7 seconds, so it just keeps going, and you're just like, oh.
Okay, like, did you guys listen to these songs? I feel
Yes.
like, first of all, like, there are songs that are almost exactly similar to this that y'all gave higher marks for and talked about how they were great and shit, and this one said almost exactly the same stuff, and this was bad. I don't understand. To me, it's like, this is...
I found it annoying, like the whole like brrr, like everything, like it drove me nuts. I just wanted it to be over.
Okay, I don't know. I just...
I found it annoying.
The song wasn't really all that catchy to me, if anything. Like, just on mine, it wasn't catchy to me. I was like, I could not listen
That
to this.
bass line is an earworm, though. That's not gonna leave your head. Just doon 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 doon. Like to me, it's like it's actually like how it's like the epitome of catchiness for this album compared to some of the
Epitome, epitome.
No, I think I said that correctly. Last time we did this, I was right. I checked the word after.
Okay.
And honestly, I thought it was a catchy, great fucking little thing that showcased their talent. Fantastic. I don't know. I don't get it.
Okay, let's go on to the next wonderful song, Orgee.
So yeah, this is an orgy with Q-Tip and the whole squad, and I'm pretty sure it's everybody on the next track, and they're just fucking, and
The girl sounds like a cat. Like, she's like screaming. It sounds like a cat you would hear in like an alleyway. It doesn't sound enjoyable.
Okay.
It was awful. I hated
I don't know why they put
this
these type
song.
of things
Like,
on
why
albums.
would you put this on? Like, it's just sounds of a girl like having sex, I guess.
well, why do
Especially
you
like a-
have a music video that is a bunch of half-naked women? Why do you have a Magic Mike even existing as a movie? Because people love sex.
Yeah, but this wasn't like,
This was.
I don't know.
him and
I
his-
took
feel
I took off my
entertaining.
headphones. I was like, I can't listen to
I
this.
just was like, this is him and his boys sharing some ladies. Like, this was common in the 80s with the rock stars. This is the band would bang a bunch of groupies. They just kind of did their version of that, and on the
I don't
album,
know.
I thought it was really weird, and I didn't think it was great. I give it a 3. I thought it was bold. I was like, Delacratic indeed. Like, I thought, you know
Okay.
what? These guys like to fuck, and their whole album has kind of so far been about expressing themselves and putting it down. And what's wrong with it? Like, they're just trying to promote group sex. Let them do.
No, I get
I
that. When
don't
you
know.
explain it like that, I understand that they're just trying to express themselves, and all right to them. You know, you have all the right to express yourselves. I
We
just
have
feel
all the
like-
right to not like it, though.
It was weird.
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't nice to listen to for me. Like, I was just there like,
No.
okay, like, the fuck, dudes. All right, now I have to hear this. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It didn't sound pleasant. I have to agree with Bonnie. She didn't sound like she was enjoying it.
I don't agree with that.
Like,
She sounded like one of those girls who wants to call you daddy and all sorts of freaky shit.
It was.
All I gotta say is that girls who end up in moments like that aren't there because they don't like being in moments like that, right?
Right.
Like, to just be like, it doesn't sound like, I don't know. To me, it sounded like she wanted to call him daddy. Instead, she had to talk about his Jimmy.
Okay.
I don't know, 3 on 5.
Well, I've never given it before, and technically I don't know if I'm allowed, but I gave it a 0.
It's like a
For me,
1.
like, no, I would never listen to this. I don't know why, like, anybody would put this on an album. Nope.
It was worse than Ken Kneff.
Everything is worse than everything. Like, this is like the bottom of the barrel.
Fair enough.
I gave it a 2 on 5. I was just trying to figure out what the fuck, what.
Yeah.
Why? Just why? I get it, the creativity. I get
an
it, the
intro.
artistic. I get the interlude, but
It's literally an intro for the next track, Buddy. So this is 5 minutes about like 8 guys trying to fuck, like they did in the Orgee and the last song. B was solid, I guess. It was okay. Like I was okay with it. And it started off, I was feeling it. It was all right.
Yeah, with like the meanie, or whatever.
yeah.
And then the verses kick in, and I'm like, all right, same type of thing. I was waiting for Q-Tip. I like Q-Tip. He came, he went. And then there were just so many people, and
Yeah, there's a lot of people on this song.
all of them saying the exact same thing, that by about the halfway mark, I started to really lose a bit of interest. But I also thought it was clever. There was all sorts of respect in this song. Like, they're not just misogynist.
Did you see? We saw the music video as well.
Yeah.
There's a music video to this,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I caught this on the song or if it was just in the music video, but Monty Love shows up,
Yeah.
and I like how not only was it like 8 guys trying to smash, but at least there was a girl who was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do what the guys are doing as well," you know, like she's kind of just give that little image too. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate her. She's good.
I feel like it's important to note that the position of being able to talk about sex in and of itself isn't the same in the 80s. So there is a certain protest angle to needing to write stuff like this and to have like a little orgy skit to a reclusive society just to
Well,
kind of
okay,
get
you can
people
have an orgy skit, but then you're calling your penis Jimmy because you can't even say penis. I don't know.
I think that's some slang from where the fuck they're from, right? Because that just seems to be like how they talk. Like they just call their dicks Jimmys.
No, it's because a Jimmy is like a fishing lure. I read something about that, and that so like they're putting their lure out there and they're seeing what kind of buddies they can get.
But like, I
Or
don't.
Jennies, I guess.
I don't think it was that they can't say penis. It's that they choose to say Jimmy.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like they choose to blatantly have an orgy and then to call their penis like Jimmy. Like I don't know.
That's what they
It's like
prefer.
okay,
Yeah.
it's an interesting idea.
I don't know. I gave this a 4. I thought it was a little long, but bold for what it is, and I didn't think it was bad. It was really had a lot of clever lines.
Fair enough. I gave it a 4 as well. I thought it was bold, like you said, and I thought it was very catchy. It was very fun, very nice to listen to, and it was just like you guys were saying. It's just a message to be rebellious out there in the time.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, like I did find it went on a bit long. There was so many people that like I could barely keep track of who was singing what. I did find it kind of boring. It kind of just became the same sort of thing and dragged on a bit. I didn't like some of the lines. Like there was one line about like he likes his girls easy to spread. And I was like, ugh. Like, I don't know. I gave it a 2 on 5. I don't really like these kinds of songs.
Fair
Okay.
enough. You don't have to.
That was a very apt description.
Employ me, thee, plug 3, or baby, you, we. I eat up or catch up for it.
This is just everybody on the squad and Q-Tip giving little limericks, introducing themselves, and then the backup dancer girls share
China
love.
and Jet, which is interesting. I mean, you never really get to like meet the backup dancers of anybody. So
Well, I mean, if they're part of the squad, right? If they're part of the squad, they're gonna give them respect to be on the song.
But they don't usually
They
sing.
don't usually give them that respect.
Right,
This was
right.
kind of like, I
Right.
don't know. I did not get that much out of this one. I mean, I thought it was clever to do it. It was not terrible. For me, it's a 3 on 5. It's just kind of there.
Yep,
It
same
was-
thing.
It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was exactly that, a description of who everybody actually is.
Yeah, and I like that. The girls were talking about the fact that like they throw flowers and like they kind of
Yeah.
like into the audience and they kind of like help to reiterate the like the hippie feeling that they're trying to give with their music and with their feel. But yeah, like the song didn't really do too much for me besides that. I gave it a 2 on 5. Sorry, guys.
Fair enough. Well,
I gave it a 3 on 5. I just felt like it was just simplistically a description.
well, that is what it was.
Yep.
It wasn't like it was me, myself, and I.
Nope.
People say I sit and try, but when it comes to being De-La, it's just me, myself, and I. It's just me.
One I'd heard before. This one I was very familiar with compared to everything else on this
Yeah,
album.
I've heard this too.
I'd seen the video a few times, and it's kind of like they're gonna be them. They're goofy. They're kind of weird. They know it, and they're gonna just do that. And then they're in the video. They kind of make fun of the other rappers of the era, kind of
Right.
parodying their various styles and stuff. And I think it's just kind of acknowledging what other people say about them.
You know,
It's like
this
a-
is
it's
just
like
who
a-
I am. Deal with it.
It's kind of like an old school haters back off type song.
Yeah, but it's done in such a mirror, mirror on the like. It just.
It's very catchy. It's
It's
very
so
bubbly. It's
And it's one of the strongest beats on the album, I think. Like,
Yeah.
it really just sucks you in, and you want to just hear more and more and more of it. And the way they do their verses is nice, and it's just so carefree and airy. Like, they're so confident and comfortable with who they are. I really
and I
appreciated
liked that they use like me, myself, and I, where it's like 3 different versions of themselves, and
Right.
like there's 3 guys. So I think that like they're all kind of saying like this is who we are and this is who I am. Like they're kind of
Right.
saying it like as a group and individually.
Oh, that's really
So,
cool. That's really
yeah.
cool.
Kind of what I took from it.
I got that as well, and yeah, I feel like you really get like here is the song where you realize they're all really good pals. I mean they've said it
That's true.
before,
Mhm.
but here it's really exemplified, even more so than in the awesome plugging song that you guys hated, and I don't know, I don't have a lot more to comment. It's more cute little silly wit, and it works really really well. 4.5 on 5 for me.
Nice. I gave it a straight 4 on 5.
Nice. I gave this one a 5 on 5. It was a nice break from all the songs I didn't like, like the last few songs before. So I was really excited when I heard this song.
Fair enough. Only a couple more left, folks. So this next one is this is a recording for living in a full-time era, and in parentheses L.I.F.E.
Peaceful expressions while we are bearers. What the soul tries to project is when existing in rap. You're living in a full-time era.
So Chris, what did you think of this one?
I thought this was really cool. I liked how they were explaining the situations and the struggles of life itself. I like how it's just you got to go through life and keep moving keep going with the flow. I thought it was really cool.
Nice.
I love the beat. And I thought it was more like they recognize that rap is a full-time thing.
Okay.
And that they have to be on this all the time and putting in that grind all the time. And albeit this is a recording, even when like it ends, they're still doing it. They still have to go out there and
Yeah.
put in that effort. And like that's what kind of makes them distinct, is that they
Right.
do go above and beyond and make it their entire crazy passion and whatnot. Now I might be off on that, but I was really distracted by how well made this beat is. Like, this beat is fucking excellent. It sucked me in properly. The song is not too long. It is possibly the best song on the album for me. I give this a 5. I
Wow.
thought it was really like delivered excellently. It was interesting. It was kind of fresh compared to some of the previous works where it felt a little redundant. I was feeling this one.
Cool.
Nice.
I gave it a 4 on 5. I actually really liked it as well. I didn't think it was that. I wouldn't listen to this every day, so I guess that's why I didn't give it a 5 on 5. But I did like how they are going back and forth between the like their current career lives and their personal lives.
I thought it was a good song. I liked it. I did find it a little bit repetitive for me, like just like the way it sounded or whatever. But I gave it a 3 on 5. I thought it was a good song. It was okay.
All right. So I guess I can do anything. Delacratic. Sick beatboxing, first of all. Very hype. Very, very fun and engaging. And this skit is cool. It has a dope point. Did you get the point, Chris?
That they can do anything they want.
No. again, it's satirical or like a criticism.
Right.
So there's a lot of people who believe that because they live in a free and democratic society, this protects them from doing stupid shit. So they're saying with Delacratic, like De-La, like they do with fucking everything, so Democratic, that because it's Delacratic, I can just hold shit or I can jump off a building, and they're just making fun of how
They
stupid.
say I can hold 2 pieces of doo-doo in my hand.
Right.
It's an actual lyric.
And it's not because they want to do this, but they're making fun of the people who defend overly stupid shit because we're in a democratic country, so I can do whatever I want and all that dumb shit that people do.
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah, at face value, it sounds kind of dumb, but I think it's nothing on this album is face value, and it all has kind of a deeper purpose to it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I give it a 4. It was short. It was sweet. It didn't go on too long. It didn't get kind of annoying, but it's definitely not something I can bump every day.
Yep. I gave it a 3.5 on 5. I thought it had an interesting sound. I definitely enjoyed like the beatboxing and like the scratching or whatever was going on. But like I just thought the lyrics were weird, which I mean I guess they were intending to be, but yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. I gave it a 3 on 5 as well. I didn't have much to it. I didn't really get it. I just kind of thought they were saying like they're king shit. They can do what they want. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. You changed democratic to Delacratic. So
They make everything their own,
Yeah,
That's cool.
Like
It's
Orgee.
unique. Yep.
like a daisy.
Age. Daisy age.
Psychics try to stand it, keep it up until they burn a cell. Rome, Manson, romancing dialecting shows. Pasta news create the flow. You say you didn't know, oh well.
Such a cool song. It
Please
was
explain.
So different. It was more poetic, first of all. So
Okay.
the fact that they're adopting this different type of flow is very disciplined, right? And all the lyrics made sense. So when you're trying to write in like lacking the little filler words like or the, like president, privilege, keeping going like that, right? So you have to now choose your words so carefully that the message of what you're doing is really being delivered. And if you consider that this is their like mantra of what they're trying to create, their vision for their future, their manifesto of sorts, it's like
Right.
they really took time to craft like in a very serious way, like it's an official document almost what the Daisy Age is supposed to be about with
Right.
Well, he's also kind of saying that it's the end of like the hippie era, right? Like they're kind of saying like, well, that's the end of it, like what's going on. So I don't know. I just thought it was just interesting like that.
I found technique-wise it was really cool. The way it was written was really cool. I didn't really get the message behind it, but it was very smooth, very calm, and
it had a very minimalist beat compared to some of the other really like thicker layered stuff. I thought it was weird how they took such a calm tone to end this. As far as I'm concerned, this is the end of the album because the next tracks are.
Well, for
another
me,
one.
like it even sounded like the end of the album. Well, hold on. First of all, Daisy, it stands for Da Inner Sound, y'all. That's what it stands for. And yeah, the end of this song was sort of like the conclusion of the game show. So that's why I didn't really get obviously it is 24 is the bonus track, so it is just a repetitive. But for me, this is the end because it sort of ends the game show. And they say if you know the answers, and they give like their record label
the A&R
address.
guy, the douche from like earlier on the album, send it to him, and you'll get a very special prize. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I googled it to see if there was a real contest, and I couldn't find anything. So if anyone knows, that would be dope to like let
Well,
us
maybe
know.
they just want you to like figure out what the answers are.
But man, it was just in general, it was such a cool, strong end because it sounded so different than the rest of the album. It was very powerful to me. I gave it a 4 on 5. It wasn't like the greatest song on the album, but it wasn't bad by any means.
Yeah, I thought the song was all right. I gave it a 3 on 5. For me, it wasn't like the best like song ending, but I enjoyed the skit ending, like the way that they kind of played that, and you had to listen to the very end and kind of listen throughout, and then you would figure out the answers, and like I don't know, I thought that was it was very unique, very cool.
well, I gave it a 3 on 5 as well. The same reasons. It was really cool, really unique. Although I just didn't get it. Like I don't know. I followed along, but I just felt like it was just kind of very simplistic.
I don't know if simplistic's the right, because it was really complicated language used. It was almost like a
Okay, so maybe not simplistic,
document.
but it was just, I guess it was the poetry form of it. I was kind of just like, it's not really earwarming to me, but it was nice. Like, it wasn't bad. I know I can see for what it is, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Well, and the 24th track was just like plugging it a second time, but like the original cut, not the cut that made the album. So
Yeah.
I guess both cuts made the album, and that's it. That's the end of it. I gave this album a 3.96. I thought it was really well made, and sometimes it's not about just the songs, right? It's about the experience that they're trying to create. And if you look at this album, it's just a protest against the violent state of hip-hop that's
Right.
emerging, and their way of trying to show how to be fly in a whole different thing. And I get that you were all like, it's confusing and stuff, but I think it's just, what's confusing is who they are and what they represent, because it's so anti-hip-hop in its hip-hopness that I think it's worth hearing, but I don't think everybody's gonna like this album.
No. For me, like the first part of the album was like stronger, and then like the second half kind of, like I said, for me, like kind of didn't hit it. There was a lot of songs that I gave low marks to at the like second half. So I gave this one a 3.04. So I mean it's definitely not a classic, but it is interesting to listen to, and there are a few hits on it, so it is good.
Fair enough.
Rolling Stones and stuff don't agree with you.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's an experience. Definitely check it out. I'm saying so, but I mean, I'm not the Rolling Stones. So-
Check out the album Hardcore. I ended up giving a 3.5 on 5 for the entire thing. Look, it's a great album if you like that, if you're into it. I didn't really vibe to it, but they have talent, they have skill, they have a message, and you know what? After listening to a lot of the like heavy, violent art like albums that are out now, it's nice to maybe go back every once in a while to listen to something positive.
Absolutely.
I'll give them that.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely isn't like Lil Yachty. It's not kind of, well, it's kind of actually a little bit like Lil Yachty.
Lil Yachty's not that bad.
You know,
Yeah.
compare it, it's just kind of like Lil Yachty before it became Yachty.
Yeah, but then Little Yachty's got Lil Boat and he's back to killing, slaying, and
Yeah,
raping. So,
I guess.
you know.
Alright, I guess that's the end of this one. If you liked the video, feel free to like it, subscribe to the channel, comment below as y'all have come to do.
Sorry if we're too sweaty.
And sorry if like this one wasn't the most in-depth analysis when they give us 23 freaking songs. It is a bit more of a challenge to not lose track of time, so it's better to get through all of them.
All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Remember, comment below, hit us up on all our Twitters, Facebooks. They're all posted down below. He's going to handle that. We will see you next Classic Quest. We out.
Alright.
Bye.